Going in depth tonight, one of the most popular adult websites in the world is now blocked in South Carolina. It's in response to a new law that's now in effect. Months ago, lawmakers passed increased age verification restrictions on adult websites. So now Pornhub is blocked throughout the state, and more than a dozen other states have a similar law on the books. At this time last year, the website shut off access in North Carolina as well. Now, this is the second year in a row lawmakers have passed online safety laws here in the state. The first effort is known as Gavin's Law. It makes sexual extortion a felony in South Carolina. It also promotes online safety in schools, making sure children are aware of dangers on the internet. Representative Brandon Guffey pushed for the law. His 17-year-old son Gavin took his own life after becoming a victim of sexual extortion. Well, he's now pushing for similar legislation at the federal level, even advocating for action in D.C. just weeks ago. We sat down with him to learn more about his efforts. Do you feel like there is some hope still that something will be done? Just because you mentioned it may be the big tech money, but what's going to be the breaking point where something is finally done is because the internet has changed significantly, not just from the late 90s, but even from 2 months ago.
Right. I mean, even whenever I use this as an example, in 1998, it took me an hour to download a Wu-Tang Clan song. And that was if someone didn't call while I was trying to download it, right? 2 years ago, whenever my son died, I had never heard of the term sextortion. It's now the #1 extortion racket in the world. National Center of Missing and Exploited Children had over 3 million reports of child exploitation last year. 3 million. We're talking about a group that isn't even in every state. They handle calls, but they're only one group. That's not your local law enforcement, police force. I think the latest stat said 1 out of 17 teens have been targeted for extortion. I mean, that is that's every middle school, every high school class in America. And I never heard of it in August of 2022. Now we've gotten there. And last year, whenever Gavin's Law passed, was the first time I had heard of someone using artificial intelligence. And the first person charged used AI to strip a classmate naked and use that for extortion. And now we're seeing those cases come up. And the only reason that's gotten any notoriety is due to Taylor Swift and it happening to her. Well, we're not all Taylor Swift. We don't have that ability to get these images taken down. And the big tech companies are not they do not have a duty of care to remove them. So my hope, even though we can't get COSA done, there is a bill that I've been working on with Ted Cruz and Amy Klobuchar called Take It Down. And Take It Down will directly impact those that have images online, whether they're real, whether they are artificial intelligence. But the Take It Down Act will allow individuals to reach out to these companies to force them to take down these images so these kids don't have the overwhelming feeling, or adults as well. My battle is, I often say 90% awareness. And it's hard to get a parent to understand the importance because my background was in tech. I knew how to protect my son, or so I thought. I had every protection in place, and yet it still happened to me. I often feel like God has a way of teaching you tolerance. And as you start hearing these stories, it's very rarely is it a parent that was an absentee parent or that wasn't strict already on allowing their kids on social media.
Very concerning. Hopefully something is done. Representative Guffey, we know you'd be leading the way on it. So we appreciate your time and we appreciate your effort. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And